That's wide open woke sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open and woke. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These days we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets, wide open.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? This is Audi Rob with Wide Open World Podcast with information to make you want to say, wow. Check this out. We got Darius Wright coming at you. If y'all know about Darius Wright, he does a lot of stuff with the out-of-body experiences. He's one of the top people in the country who has these out-of-body experiences. He's pretty much mastered it. He's been on a lot of podcasts right now. I got him on an insert from the Next Level Soul podcast with Alex Ferrari. You need to go check him out. Shout out to Alex. I watched him in the beginning of my awakening, and he's always had excellent guests on there. And I watched him pretty much from the beginning of my awakening all the way up until now, and it's like top-notch information for you all. So Darius Wright is going to tell you about in his next level out of body experience that he experienced some things, and this is what he saw, and a lot of stuff he had comes to pass. And so this is something for y'all to check out. We're gonna go ahead without further ado and get into this thing here. All right, let's go, Darius.
Worldwide, not even playing safe. We know what's going on is absolute nonsense, and what's happening for controlling everybody. But again, from 16 to everything that I'm seeing now, all those potential time events, this is coming to a point where it's freedom of every single person here without question, and that could be hard for people to imagine based off what's happening. But then I always add this statement: the closer that you get to the source of light, the bigger the shadow becomes, because when you go to the highest truth, which is love itself, you're going to see everything which is not of that state. And that's what we're seeing now. And that could sound like a whole bunch of hope things and hope harvesting, but I'm telling you, it's not. It's actually happening now. I had an experience where I was tapping into future time events.
Here we go.
And I was being shown that there's going to be civil unrest everywhere around the world. Now, this was months and months and months ago, And I think we're already in that time. That's already starting to happen, but we're in that time. And then you even go back even further than that. I didn't necessarily share this to you, Alex. I didn't share it on this platform at all. But there was a document that I released called Truth Be Told. Now, I released this even before the files came out. And in that document, with my targeting and getting visions of what's going to happen in the future, I was shown that every sealed document of who controls what was going to be released. And that this is public. So, I know that I'm saying it here when it's already released, but this is public domain, already out there. It's a PDF, people to download, and people have already downloaded it. With that as well, when I said all the files are going to be released, well, here we are. We have all of those dark files being released. I've also said that all the classified information of technology was going to be released as well. And I believe we're in that process with all the hundreds of patents that they have that are suppressed because of military operations, or for military use that they have suppressed. We have enough energy in the palm of my hand to generate or have energy for an entire city or something like that, probably even more. They call it that tapping into the 0 point or something like that within how much energy we have just within the space around us. So, when people start to realize that a lot of the technology is based off electromagnetic field in magnets, essentially, for free energy to happen, and tapping into the field that's all around us, the very source and spark that generates our own physical body. That's the energy. I know that all this information is going to be released as well. I also know that even the extraterrestrials, back again, seeing these things, going back to the heaven of Eden, the realm, what I used to call realm 4, which is just the fourth heaven within this creation that we're in. And I was being told there by a being that We are all here. What people describe as angels, extraterrestrials, are literally just angels, angels from the higher heavens above, and other entities from the higher heavens above. And they're actually here. They use what is entrance points into this creation that we're in, the
Wow.
Earth creation, to come here. And many of them have been here from you could say the last chapter, or the last book of what they call it, or the Great Flood, or the Great War, or the Reset, if you go into Tartaria, all talking about this event. Now, some of those beings has never left here this entire time, and they're actually still here. They've been here in this entire time. They've operated in the you could say in the shadows, pretty much operated in the shadows. And it's not necessarily of me just saying these things just because I want to say these things, but they've also been said everywhere throughout history. As you've interviewed many people that have talked about the pyramids, all of the races that used to try to draw or say, they're coming down as luminous beings, or ones that don't necessarily look like human, and people think of extraterrestrials also as just the races of human beings, but they don't think of the mermaids. They don't think of all of the mystical beings that were once here and actually still are here. Look up the mermaids found, or whatever. Like all these things are still here. And so everything that I'm accessing in terms of new information is all alluding to disclosure, and freedom, and right now we're getting it from the most darkest points. And this isn't even this is just the tip, what people see within those files, it's just a tip.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to go to it on this platform because I'm totally.
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying basically that, we're right at the tip. We are very close to getting that full disclosure. But when full disclosure really happens, are y'all ready for that? There's a movie coming out with Steven Spielberg on my birthday, June 12th. It's funny that it came out on my birthday. That's another whole story. But anyway, yeah. Disclosure is going to happen. And see, you guys got to get ready for this. Don't be surprised about what you see, but this is something that the government has been hiding from us for the longest. Something that you guys need to go ahead and be up on like since when? Since with Roswell? Roswell was something that you guys need to check out, because Roswell was the beginning of everything that has happened and all the control that has came up from behind this. But yeah, he's just getting more into it there, but a lot of it deals with vibration and frequency, and he already told you about 0-point energy, what Nikola Tesla was discovering. And for y'all, a little bit of information, Trump knows all about this 0-point energy, because his grandfather was the head of the FBI that went in and took all his documents from Tesla. So they have all of the information. They already know all this stuff already, y'all. It's just that we didn't know it. They don't want to tell the public, but now they have no choice and they got to. So let's continue on what we're looking at here. Let's continue on.
But it's just the tip of the iceberg. And people need to realize that needs to be shown, because a lot of people want to move forward, or things need to move forward, but they can't move forward if that's still in the background playing out. So one that's exposed and one that's seen, then other things move forward. I have this and I'm speaking as if I'm not necessarily going to bring up many experiences, because it's just things that I've seen. They all, like the many things that I'm seeing all the time, they all just, like I said, they're coming all into this point, this one point. If I were to lay it out in a sequence of events, not necessarily time, because you cannot say, I cannot say, sometimes I can, depending on how strong that is, a specific time of December or January There's only a handful of times that I've actually been given a certain date and it's actually happened, but they're all based on when a domino falls. When you hit a certain marker, then the next marker falls. Just think about it as a deck of cards, right? So you just put the deck of cards on the table, you hit that marker, you hit that marker, you hit that marker, and that's a sequence of events. What people are seeing, and not to get too political, is an entire operational cleanup. The entire operational cleanup of every think about this.
Wow.
Many people are awake to truth. Many people are awake to truth and, finding that. But then you have a majority of the population that will not necessarily listen to information like this because they've been so heavily indoctrinated by the systems that be into appeal to authority in obeying these things.
Like the church.
And unless they say it, then it's true to them. And a lot of these people have put so much belief, or you could say faith, in the politicians, certain government structures, certain religious institutions, certain people that are in positions of spiritual influence. And some of these all are connected to these deeper versions of what's being released now. It's not, I know that sounds weird, but it's not all people, but they're connected to these things. And why they do these things go into a deeper aspect of a ritual of some sort in participation towards a certain spirit, a thought form manifestation into a spirit to create an energy vortex. You could say then to suck certain energy or try to influence the energy of this entire creation here. And that is stopping because the very other side itself, listen to this, Alex, the very other side itself said enough. And that may seem like, how do you know that? Are you connected to, God itself and he's telling you that? No, not at all. The other side said enough because everybody here within this creation has said enough, and they're the very other side itself. And with all this coming out, people will see everything that they put their trust in this system was always a lie. And it was always a system designed to control you, control your will in everything that you do.
Wow.
And one that is shown to these people.
Wow. Y'all see that? He's telling you, it's all been controlled. This has all been controlled. See, we are in the light matrix and it's all being controlled. Pretty soon I'm going to have a podcast with some other individuals from the Exit team off of TikTok. And we're going to talk about how to get out the matrix. There's a way to get out this matrix and get past the archons. You got to be, ready for this. You got to be already practicing the art of detachment in order to even get past them. So it's another whole podcast where we're going to come together on it. But these people is praying to this other entity. It's got the church all praying to the same entity that he's talking about. For control, based all on control. Let's continue on here.
Other people, let's just say 70, 80%. Then the only thing that they have to turn to then is who am I?
Yep.
Where did I come from? And what is the purpose of all of this? Many of them will turn back to religion. Some of them will return back to spirituality. But eventually, no matter what they choose, it will always lead back to love itself. The highest version of love, loving everybody. And that is the freedom. That is the celebration from even what I was shown when I was 16 years old. And the thing is that it's going to happen. Right. And it's a 100% going to happen. There's no doubt in my heart or in my mind that that's not going to happen because we're already in the dominoes effects of it happening.
So what's interesting, Darius, is that I get everything you're saying. You make sense. All of this is... Again, I'm in a unique position because I have all these conversations all the time. So a lot of the information that you're saying mirrors a lot of other ideas from different teachers and different sources that I've read and researched on that are coming together. Your perspective from going through your astral travels is interesting to see how it's kind of reinforcing a lot of those things. But from my understanding, humanity had at one point two roads to take. One that would absolutely destroy humanity and we would be reset again, like we have been with the Great Flood of Atlantis, and you can go back as far as you like. Or as a consciousness, we agreed to like, no, we're done. We need to move forward. We need to evolve. And from what I've heard from multiple sources is that decision was made already, and we're heading towards evolution. We're heading towards awakening. And we can kind of see it in the world that we're in right now, by these conversations being seen by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people around the world, where 20 years ago, this doesn't exist. They're not ready for it.
No.
They're not ready for it.
No.
A lot of the stuff that you're saying right now will blow some people that are watching's mind apart. For me, it's just kind of like, I get it. I understand it because I'm in it all the time. But there's sometimes ideas that come out that people have to be ready for. And I go back to the analogy of Jesus. When Jesus was when Jesus and Buddha were both walking the world, the consciousness of humanity was so low that I can't even understand how those two were able to get anybody to listen to them, because they were talking about things that were so revolutionary at the time, where we look at it now and it's still arguably controversial.
Wow.
It's still the same. It's still the same in some people. That's the thing.
Right. Yeah. But it's still, but now there's a lot more that listen. And not only listen, we'll use Christ as an example. Now people are, to give an example of what you're saying, at one point, everything that we knew about Christ came from the Vatican, came from that book that was put together called the Bible. And that was what everyone believed. But there's just so many more people who are like, I don't believe in that anymore. I'm looking for my own path. I got to go find the truth about Jesus. Where was he for those 18 years? What were his true teachings?
Yep.
You know, did Paul write most of the New Testament? Historically, they're saying yes. All of those kind of things. So, but there's more curiosity, more people open to it. And that's where we're going. I can only imagine 50 years from now where the Vatican will be, where organized religion will be.
No. It's the thing is,
Tell me.
I'm going to go to, I'll bring up what you just said, but let's go back to the two paths.
Okay.
This place is also what you said before. We are heading towards a path of freedom for everybody. I've known that from 16. I was shown that from 16, and we're in it. There was the path of destruction was never going to be fulfilled.
Right.
It was never going to be fulfilled because it's already this is a set marker set from the other side itself, that this place is free. Again, you can say the very Garden of Eden is here. Heaven itself is here again. Everything turns online. So there was never two paths. There was always one path, and that was to freedom, becoming the highest version of yourself back to purity and love. The second path was always the distortion and the illusion that was never going to happen anyways, but to always put you in fear and doubt of the freedom. Because when you put yourself in the focusing on that second path of fear, hatred, destruction, think about what you're doing. Your words and how you feel program the very reality that we live in, and it programs your very body. And what you feel and what you say and what you think and you put out there, and you are participating in the narratives, you become the very death itself that they're talking about within yourself. You see what I mean? Because you're saying that to yourself. You're putting yourself in that frequency, that state, which causes illness, disease, suffering, and death to you.
Right.
You see, this is an important thing to understand for everybody, is when you step into love, and I've given this example before, you change this reality, become a beacon of light. And it's not just all airy-fairy. It's very potent. It's very potent. Take 2 jars of rice. Say, I hate you to the jar, and say, I love you to the other jar. And after a month, I want you to take a spoon. I want you to take a spoon, put it in there and eat the hate jar, stick it in your mouth and tell me what you taste. You're going to spit it out and then taste the love jar. And you're going to see that it has fermented in a pure state. There's no mold on it, no decay. But the hate jar will have mold on it. It will taste like crap. But then let's put love in a weak state. But what I want you to do, if you don't believe that love is the ultimate force and the path that you should choose, then stick the hate jar in your mouth and tell me what it tastes like. And then every word that comes out of your mouth, everything that we participate in with our energy, in hatred and fear, we are becoming the hate jar. And love is the sharpest tool. It's the sharpest weapon. It is the most powerful thing. And when you become that, you stand in that and you move towards that, it changes everything. It changes everything. And people need to start making that decision within themselves, not necessarily just listening to something or listening to me, but make that choice within yourself, because your presence and what you do matters. What choices you make here matter, and what path you want to participate in, not only for everybody else, but it's for yourself. It's for yourself.
Right.
All these dormant abilities never turn online unless you become love within yourself first. And maybe you could relate to this. It's almost impossible for you to do any form of telepathy or feeling somebody if you don't love them. If you have a partner that you love or a child that you love, you could tune into that person due to your love and start accessing what they call telepathic communication, or feeling, or knowing where they are, know what's going on, even without you not being there in their presence. You know, even when it comes down to disease within the body. See, a lot of people hate certain aspects of themselves, and they don't realize how powerful the belief is in their word. And they hate certain aspects within themselves, whether if something's hurting them or there's pain, and they just hate it and they hate it and they hate it. And that's all they're speaking to it. And it's this looping effect of hatred and getting worse and worse and worse. But if you were to love certain parts of yourself that you hate, even the parts that are classified as sickness or disease, and you were to love that as much as you love your child or a mother or something in your life that you loved, and it's a love that you just love so much. If you were to put as much love into that in your body, you will find that the very belief in that and the love that you place in it even helps heal it as well. And that is just an absolute fact. And for me to not say that, then I would be arguing the basic concept, the factual concept, that if you take hate and love jar, that what you speak to the hate and what you speak to the love, they're completely different effects of what happens. And so if you could transmute that frequency to that scientifically, then what makes you think for any moment that you can't transmute that same frequency to the cells in your body?
There you go.
And this is where the belief structure comes into play, because you could see something visually, you could see that at play, and you could see how that works, but then you don't believe that that's not happening to you within yourself all the time.
Right.
And it is.
Wow.
It is.
I mean,
and these, I know I'm going on a rant here, but even these religious institutions, you see, they have distorted so much truth for people.
Hey guys, I really hope you're enjoying this conversation. And the one thing I've noticed recently is that most of you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel. It's
Alex
free
Ferrari.
and it really helps us out a lot. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, and share this content so we can continue to help elevate the consciousness of the planet. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the conversation.
It's very easy to find the number one truth of thing, and that's love. Love is truth, and truth is love. And even certain institutions, not necessarily the people within those institutions, a lot of people are innocent, but people controlling those things have an agenda to put you in fear. And again, what is fear? Fear is the opposite of love. Hatred and fear is the opposite of love. And these institutions have instilled fear within everybody. And that fear is actually going against the highest truth, which is unfiltered, unconditional love. A love that you can't even comprehend, or it's a love so profound that if you could imagine it for a moment, it's a love that even surpasses the love that you have for your own child.
There you go.
And that type of love doesn't have hatred, doesn't have punishment, doesn't have fear, and is not eternal damnation or punishment. And anything,
There you
but only
go.
forgiveness, and for you to look at yourself in the face of that love. Okay? And so what they have done with the God, and what people are worshiping the God in the way that it is portrayed that it's going to make you suffer, they're in essence.
See, and that's another part of the aspect. When you get into that part of being within the light beings and all that kind of structure, that's still stuck within this construct. Yeah, they trick you into being an ascended master. Like Dolores Cannon, even though they said she's part of the of the one spreading the information, the coded. She said even the elect will be fooled. So when you get thinking that you're going to be an ascended master or a light being to help souls back and forth, that's a whole nother construct that you're just being stuck in, because you're still, once you're at that point, you're still not free to go and experience other simulations and dimensions and other, realities. You in simulation, you can't experience them because you're still stuck in this one as a light being. That's the next level up from religion that you're going to be. Because in religion, those people are so stuck, they're going to go to the 8th level, which is another thing we need to get to on another podcast. But let's continue on with this one, because I don't want to be keeping you too long.
Since not even realizing it, they are worshiping the very evil that they say that they're trying to fight against. Because imagine this: if a government system were to tell you, this, okay, if you make this mistake in life, just you, I will punish your entire family and cast them into prison and torture them in front of you. You would have all of humanity within that country up and protesting, in America anyways, and fighting against their government. Now, what that same thing, that distorted version of what's in those institutions of God to send you to hell and eternal damnation, how could people not see that? The basic, again, factual truth that you cannot have unconditional love with a judgment. And it is so simple to understand, but yes.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. So going back to what you were saying in regards to the love and hate jar, that has been scientifically tested multiple times, especially with water. That Japanese doctor, I always forget his name, who was able to give love and joy to a glass of water, and then hate and just nothing, really hated, and literally just typing, like writing the word on the jar. That's all it took, love and hate. And then the next day they put both water underneath, molecules from the water underneath a microscope, and you just saw one is just beautiful and the other one was just distorted as all hell. So that concept is not, and they do the same thing with plants. You yell beautiful, you give beautiful love, or you play beautiful songs to a plant on one side, and then you play thrash metal, angry thrash metal on the other one, and you just see what happens. What happens to the way they grow. So everything you're saying in regards to that is absolute. But what you're saying in regards to the hell and damnation thing, it's one of my biggest pet peeves, because I agree with you 110%. I find it that in 50 years, in 100 years, they'll look back at this and laugh in many the same way that we look back at, what the Romans did or what the Egyptians did and laughed. They're like, ha ha ha, raw. That's not God, or like look at the barbaric things that they did in the Colosseum for the amusement of the masses, which was all power. It's all about maintaining power for the Roman Emperor. They're going to look back at us like that, very much so. I think someone said that, like in a couple hundred years, they'll look back at us like we look back at the Roman Empire, just in awe of the barbaric nature of what we were doing. But we are awakening. We are starting to wake up, and people are starting to go, no, this doesn't make any sense anymore. It just doesn't.
People are, because right now they're being hit at every single aspect of their life. You have, they're being hit. There's listen, if you are still asleep, if people are still asleep now, this is not a judgment on people, but if you are still asleep now, in the face of all of this, then The only thing that it's probably going to take from this point on is if everything was stripped away from you to see, because it is so clearly seen now what's going on. As before, 15, 20 years ago, very difficult to see.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
A lot of people could relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very difficult.
So yeah, we're at our 30-minute mark. You know, I don't try to keep it past 30 minutes, but you know, this is a very interesting conversation. Yeah, he breaks it all the way down to, you know, a lot of people are not going to get this, and they're not going to accept this. They're not going to accept disclosure, but when it's right in their face, they got no choice but to accept it. But then again, they can go on and run back to church or whatever they're going to do. But these religious institutions are going to all shut down. They're going to put padlocks on the churches, the synagogues, and all the mosques. Yes. And then they're going to break down the pastor's situation too. Some of those are going to get their that kind of contract, that 538 whatever 08 contract that they signed, and to not pay any taxes throughout their lifetime as long as they stick to that doctrine. They're going to be revoked. So that's coming too, and that's going to start a whole big another thing in the religious community. But yeah, they don't know that they worshiping the very thing that's got them in control, and they don't even know it. But yeah, more coming on this guy Darius Wright. He does have some very good information. Check him out. This insert was from Next Level Soul with Alex Ferrari. Go back to his podcast and check him out. He has more to the story on this. I would like to try to put another part of it and continue, but this is some very interesting information that I felt that you guys need to get this. And he was talking about that last thing. If you guys see my little shorts I put out just recently today when I was talking about the theory of punches, because that we're actually in a takedown situation. You know, every fighter knows that when they get in a situation like that and you're up against the ropes, and the other opponent's coming through with a whole flurry of punches, and they're hitting on some of those punches, and some of the punches they're missing with, but some of them punches he's getting hit with, he's in a situation where he's about to get a knockdown punch. Not a knockout, because there's going to be other times you're going to be knocked down, but we won't be knocked out. But it's going to be a knockdown moment, because all these distractions is coming from you every which way. Gas prices, Epstein files, government, war. Oh, you want to go to the concert? We upgraded the concerts. We got concerts for everybody now. We got concerts with more shows. We got games with more events. We got more of this and we got more of that. We're going to keep you so distracted that you will not have time to even stop and think of what we're going to do. And then when we pop it on you, here comes the knockdown moment. Bow. Disclosure. Oh. Fake alien attack. Oh. We can now do Jesus come out the clouds. We can make that happen for the Christians. Or we can do a fake rapture where we can take a group of people, a whole bunch of group of people, and we can just transform them, send them through the Stargate that we now have the keys to, and shift them to another dimension. And then all those thousands of people are gone, and they're so-called gone up in the rapture, and have you guys thinking they went to a rapture, but they just sent them to another dimension. Oh, I'm tell you something. There's a whole lot of stuff that's about to happen. But you just don't have any fear. Just observe. Don't absorb. Don't put your feelings all in it. You know? And start saying no. Start saying no, people. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all better start asking questions. Because it's right in y'all faces. And no, Jesus ain't got nothing to do with it because he ain't coming back. They make it look like he's coming back. But no, he's already here. His Christ consciousness is already here. So, yeah, all this stuff is good down here for this realm here. For the realm that we're in, the spirituality and everything. But once we get out of this situation, once we get free from the cord, we're going to have another podcast about that. Because you must want to go home to your God body, back to base reality, and we can get you there with this information. But anyway, you guys, we're going to go ahead and cut it right here. This is Wide Open Woke Podcast with information, well, operations, that too. With information to make you want to say, wow. Check it out. You guys have a very enlightening night. Soul resting to all you all. And you all have a good night. And we is out of here.
Ass wide open, woke sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open and woke. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and highs. These chains we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets.